the co-chair, and we have a good team that's put together here. We're going to be working with you today, and hopefully we can answer a bunch of questions when we get to the panel. But we also have a great presentation by our Chief Boysend that will be introducing here in just a few minutes.
I just wanted to take a look at your schedule. You'll notice that there are groups. Your name will fall under either group 1, 2, or 3. There are small breakout sessions, and each of you will move as a group through those breakout sessions. So you'll see where group 1 starts with class 1, and group 2 with class 2, and 3 with 3, and rotate through. It's on the second page, so you know where to go. With that, I'll let the sheriff introduce the chief of police.
Excellent. So David Boysend is the chief of the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety, one of our partners with ALPAC, also a community leader for many years. And I don't have his bio right here, but you know, I'll just say this. I've watched Dave grow up at the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety. And,
we grew up together.
Yes, we did grow up together in our agencies. So again, great partner and someone who's really looked into the technologies. His team has been able to help other teams in the community understand the technologies, explore the technologies, and I'll just say, if it's not David's team at KDPS, it is going to be the state police that have the most up-to-date technology information that we are sharing with our public and our teams. So with that, David Boysend.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad there's a little bit of applause. I was worried for a second there was no applause, so thank you for that. So again, I'm Dave Boysend, Chief of Public Safety, and I've been with the City of Kalamazoo for 29 years now. So I've been around a long time, and I've seen really the shift in the old way of doing things, which was paper and pencil and zero technology, to in the last few years it's grown. And just our society in general, technology has just grown exponentially, and it continues to do so. So one of the things we do at Public Safety, we try to be leaders in that, and how can we use technology to make us more effective? And so I'll start with this. We have two main jobs, two of our most important jobs in law enforcement are, number one, our job, and we all take an oath, whether you're the state police or the sheriff's department or Kalamazoo Public Safety, we take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and the state of Michigan. Okay, that is our number one thing, to make sure that people's constitutional rights are protected and that people are free to live in a society that doesn't infringe on their right to walk downtown, to drive through our community safely. Okay, so that's really important. That's why we take that oath. And at the same time, our job is to keep the community safe. Again, if you live in a society where you don't feel safe leaving your home, you don't feel safe having your kids play outside, how much freedom do you actually have? So we are really intentional about being effective at keeping our community safe. Like I said, when I took over as chief, I said the number one thing we need to do is get back to the basics, and our number one job is to keep our community safe. And you can't build legitimacy and trust if your department is viewed as ineffective. If you're not doing your job, if our community does not feel safe, how much legitimacy and trust do you have? If you don't have legitimacy and trust, you're not going to have the community cooperating with you to help solve crimes or problems in their neighborhood. And that's one thing I'm most proud of at Public Safety is in the last few years, we work hand in hand with our community. A lot of folks are in this room that we work hand in hand with to help us make our community safe. Like I just said earlier, it used to be in the old days, people would say to the public safety, what are you doing to prevent shootings or to help keep the community safe? Now it's, what can we do together? How can we work with you to keep our community safe? Because we can't do it alone, and the community can't do it alone. So that's why it's really important for all of us to work together. And when it comes to technology, we have to be transparent, okay? We're not doing these things in a secret, in a vacuum, okay? When we use technology to solve a crime, we put it right in the press release. Whether it's our, some of our things we're going to talk about, whether it's our, some of our security cameras that we use, our FUSIS integrated camera system that we use, license plate reader technology, NIBIN, which we'll talk about in a minute. We use some of these things to solve a crime, we're gonna put that in a press release so people know. We also have, and I know public safety does, I know the state police does, I'm sure the sheriff's department does as well, where a lot of these technologies and tools that we use are on a transparency page. So our policies and procedures related to the use of this equipment is all for the public to see. It's not secret. You can log on to KalamazooPublicSafety.org, go to transparency, and all of our policies and procedures are right there for everyone to see. Again, the point of using this technology is not to try to trick people and, hey, we got you, we're using secret technology that you didn't know about. We want people to know that we have this technology and that we're using it, because the point is not just to catch criminals after they do something bad in our community. It's to hopefully prevent crimes from happening in the first place. Because if people think, man, if I do this here, I know everybody's got a security camera and they're probably going to share it with the police department. You're going to think twice before you commit a crime. And hopefully just that moment of pause when you think twice, that is what we need to reduce crime, because maybe you're not going to do with that. So the whole point is reducing crime, not just solving crime. And I'm going to talk about our numbers in a minute, but I think that this is working, because I think one of the things you saw, especially around 2020, the last few years, when courts were shut down, locked down with the pandemic, it was just awful. And people began to realize, man, if I commit this crime, if I do the shooting, I'm not getting, no one's talking. I'm not going to court. I'm not getting charged, and you're more likely to do it again. But now, what we've seen, especially in this last year, working with our community partners, solving crime, people are being caught and they're being held responsible. And so people are, and that's a deterrent thing. People are like, well, if I do this crime, I'm going to get caught, maybe I'm not going to do it. And so that's why I think our numbers are driving down, because we are much more effective than we used to be. So, don't play it, just go to the next slide. So instead of just talking about technology that we have, I want to talk about how we use the technology in some of these cases. I'm going to give specific examples on cases that we have solved using technology that I'm telling you a few years ago, even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Those cases, a lot of them would still remain open, they would not have been solved, and the people that did some of these horrible acts we're going to see would still be out there, and more than likely we've had many more victims than what we were talking about here. So, now the first one I'm going to warn you is kind of graphic, okay? I'm going to set the stage out this a little bit. First one was on May 25th, 2021, West Edge Hill. This is the first video that we're going to show. We responded to a call of a motorist that was driving up or down West Edge Hill that had been shot. Turns out it was a road rage incident, and a person was driving down West Edge. You know where Crane Park is, for those around here, you know there's a right turn only lane. Well, someone was trying to pass everyone in that right turn only lane, and the car in the right lane was not letting them over. That made the person mad, so what did they do? They pulled out a gun and shot twice at some innocent guy that was just driving down the road. And so, pick it up, this is what our officers, and I'll also set the stage. So Kalamazoo Public Safety, we're police, fire, and EMS. So we're not just police officers, we are medical first responders. So some officers, they call them and wait for the paramedics to get there. Our officers jump in to save lives. This person was shot. Now this is a horrible scene, but it's a positive thing, he survived. But he was shot through the neck, through his carotid artery, but because of the quick actions of bystanders on the scene and then our officers, he survived. But this is a scene that we came across, and again, it's kind of graphic, so if you don't want to see it, please turn away. Go ahead.
Coming up the road, he was laying on the ground, and I just tried to I asked, I don't know if it's directed. I think I see a car back there, but I don't think it's at the vehicle. So 60 units. We're gonna need to shut down one day, shut down one station first. I have always a man shade up like a crane. Okay. Who's got that bag? Can we order it?
Can you pause it, Victor? So this is a case that in the past would be very, very difficult to solve. We have an innocent person driving down the road, was shot by a total stranger. No relationship between victim and offender at all. Total stranger. That's what we got. The only thing we had was a witness said they saw a white vehicle that they think was involved. So we got a white vehicle and that's it. How many white vehicles are driving around Kalamazoo? Quite a few. So that doesn't help us out a ton. But we were able to go canvass the area and got some security footage from a private residence that had that car on. We obtained a possible license plate and we put that in our license plate reader system to see if that car had hit any license plate readers in the city of Kalamazoo. And this was way back in 21, so we didn't have that. We only had a few, and a lot of them were mounted on patrol cars. So just like hopefully someday that car drove by a patrol car with a license plate reader. We did get one, and that car we noted had hit many times on the east side of Kalamazoo. So we knew, okay, well, we got a possible suspect vehicle, and it appears to go to the east side of Kalamazoo a lot in those neighborhoods. So we started driving up and down the streets looking for that car, and one of my sergeants, actually was lieutenant at the time, spotted it parked outside of an apartment complex, spotted that car. So we began doing some research in that area, and we found out, and one thing about technology you're going to see, it's not usually just one piece of technology. We use technology in layers to build a case. So one of the things we found in this case was outside in that apartment complex, back on the 4th of July, someone called in a shots fired call. One of my officers went there and found one casing on the street out front of that apartment. Just one spent shell casing from a bullet. Now, that officer could have easily just like, oh, it's one casing, no one's around, it's 4th of July, someone just shot one in the air, just whatever. No, they took the time to collect that casing and put it in evidence, and we ran that casing through our National Integrated Ballistic Information Network NIBIN machine that we have at Public Safety in partnership with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So we ran that casing from that 4th of July, shots fired by a suspect, and that casing matched a casing that we recovered from West Lynch Hill at that shooting. So now we know this is our car. We have a casing out front that matched the casing from our homicide. We got enough to get a search warrant to make entry into the apartment of our potential suspect. We do a search warrant. There's a couple of adults in the apartment. We're hoping to find the gun, right, the murder weapon. Okay, we initially do a search and we don't find the gun. But one of my captains of the detective bureau noticed that on the floor there was a bucket of drywall mud that had just been mixed up. It was still wet. It was like, you don't see that very often in a house, right? So like, so he got a metal spoon from the kitchen and he starts stirring around that drywall mud, tink, tink, tink at the bottom. There was a gun in there. So we recovered that gun once we dried off all the drywall mud, cleaned it up. We test fired it, and we ran that casing through our NIBIN, and that matched the casing that was found in front, that was shot on the 4th of July, and matched the casing from West Lynch Hill. So because of all these pieces coming together, we were able to convict this person for this heinous crime, and he got 15 to 20 years in prison, and luckily the victim survived. But again, this is one of those cases that I'm just telling you, a few years ago, and my law enforcement colleagues can probably speak to that, that would have been a really tough one to solve. But thank goodness for some of this technology, we were able to do that. This is another one. This was, you guys remember, it's not too far from here, the Y-bar, when that was such a problem here in Kalamazoo. This was November 11th, 2022. We had a report of shots fired, person down in the Y-bar parking lot. Again, it's right here in the corner, or like right across the street at Howard and West Michigan. This is what happened. This is video footage from the parking lot. You're going to see an altercation. Yeah, is there a laser pointer here or something? I don't know. Okay, so watch the middle of the screen, the person in white. You see that fight? Punching back and forth. So it's just a normal fight right now.
there's such thing as a normal fight, right, with no weapons. And you're gonna see the person in all black pull out a gun and shoot. You see the muzzle flash in just a second. Right there, you see the muzzle flash? Person in white is hit. He runs away, but later dies from his injuries. The person in the black gets in this Dodge right here and takes off. And that's what we got. Okay? So at least we have a video of the incident, right? But nobody there that we talked to knew who that person was that shot. Nobody had seen him before, nobody knew who he was. You can pause it. So because we had a vehicle description, we started looking at our, again, license plate readers of black Dodge Chargers leaving the area at that time, and we found one, and the license plate came back registered to someone in Lansing.
Recording in progress.
So anyways, we did some research on this person in Lansing. It was a female, and her boyfriend had just been released from prison on parole. So we got a potential suspect. Anyways, we get enough information to go back to Lansing, work with them. He was a parole absconder. We get him in custody. We obtained later a full confession for the homicide, and we were able to get this person. But why this is technology significant is this individual was from Lansing, no ties to Kalamazoo. He went to a casino, the casino over in Battle Creek Firekeepers, and just recently got out of prison, and he was wanted to find a party. And so we asked someone at the casino, where's a good place to party? And what did they tell him? All the way over there? Hey, go to Kalamazoo. There's this Y bar, go there and party. And so that's why he came here, so nobody knew him. And the only thing we had is a vehicle description license plate, and that allowed us to identify the individual and get justice for this family of this person that was killed. And that person, since he had just got released from prison on a violent crime and then came here right away and committed a homicide, was sentenced to 70 to 100 years in prison. Again, just a dangerous individual that should not have been doing these types of things in our community. This in particular, this was just last winter. Snowy day, this is what we have to look forward to here pretty soon. A snowy day, and officers spotted a stolen car. So they go to chase the car, or to stop the car, I should say, and the car flees. And you'll see kind of how this thing started going to play. This is one of our drones. We had it drone up in the air because we put it up in the air because we knew that they were going to about ready to stop the stolen car. So that's the stolen car there. You see it blow a stop sign. Now it's turning south onto Portage Road. And you see how it's driving, slippery conditions, coming up to busy intersections. Okay, now I guess it's going on Portage Road. Busy intersection, so we terminate the pursuit. We're not going to chase that car and make it more dangerous for the public. Okay, see how he's driving. So our patrol units notice now, you don't see them, they're out of sight. But we're just staging an area and watching this car with our drone. So, with hopes of eventually he's going to think, hey, I lost the police. Now I'm going to slow down and start driving normal, which is much safer for everybody. See how he slows down when he's came to a stop there? Because they think that we're not being chased anymore. Well, we are watching. But compare his driving now to when he thought the police were chasing him. Much more controlled, much safer. He even comes to a complete stop. Waits for traffic, so which is good. But I guarantee you, if there was a black and white behind the lights, he would have blown through that stop sign and probably T-boned that car. It's nice and cozy with all the snow on the roofs and, quiet street. So, okay, so he's going to come to an end here soon and park at his house because he thinks he got away. And they're juveniles, there are a couple of teenagers in the car, a solo car. they think everything's good. Until, and so now they run. Again, now the drone person's calling us out, take the driver into custody. They got to pitch something in the creek there, I don't know that. And we take the other two into custody. But again, you see how safely that situation was resolved when it could have been much worse. We could have had a serious crash on our hands, or someone, an innocent motorist driving down the road could have been killed. So again, take the person in custody. And well, again, just another example of drone technology. We didn't have this capability a few years ago, and now, I mean, these drones, everybody's using them, private and public. So all of our drones are certified and through the FAA and go through specific training for this. We don't just throw anyone as a drone pilot. They have to be trained. They have to know all the FAA rules, and we're in compliance with that. Again, that's on the transparency page if you want to look at the policy. So we're going to show another drone one here while we're on the drone thing, but I think that drone's pretty much over. I guess is what they are. The next one is a vehicle pursuit, again, and then it turns into a foot chase. And again, I also, as a chief, don't like foot chases because they're dangerous for our officers, they're dangerous for the person chasing, and they're dangerous for the public. But this is at night, and our drones at night, we can use thermal imaging to locate people hiding. You can pause it right here. Locate people hiding when they think they're concealed. So this is a dark area under the tree, and you guys ever seen the movie Predator? Seen that? One of my favorite movies, best movie of all time, I think it's Predator. About that thermal imaging, that you can see the color change from the heat signature. That's what we're looking at here. So you will see, go ahead. Person just ran from a stolen car and they're hunkered down, and officers can't see him on the ground. Again, dangerous because maybe he's got a weapon, maybe he could launch an attack against the officer, we don't know. But here comes the patrol cars and the police canine. Okay, you see the canine and the patrol car? He jumps over a barbed wire fence. That fence had the barbed wire coiled at the top, and he was jumped over that. He cut himself doing it. But now he's hiding in this lot and hunkered down by the fence. And look at the officer does not even see him. Can't see him. Runs right by him. And he's again, if we didn't have a drone, we wouldn't have known where he was. And think about how dangerous that can be for responding officers. So he's now hunkered down behind the car. You see additional patrol units arrive, canines. Again, officers are walking right by because he's hidden right there. They can't see him. Look at the canine, goes right by him too and doesn't pick up on his scent. So canine team doesn't like to see this, but I point that out. Dog missed him. So anyways, they are able to boost themselves over the fence. They're giving them commands to come out. Canine's barking on a lead, and he pulls himself out, and they're able to move in and take him into custody. So they're giving them commands to come out. Canine's barking on a lead, and he pulls himself out, and they're able to move in and take him into custody. Again, it's about being effective, right? So, and this guy could have gotten away before. Again, he could have hid there until we were gone and then come out and we got away, but now he was caught. There's a couple other cases. I'm not going to, these are more recent ones. These cases here are all closed, so I can talk about them and show you videos, but we have a couple other cases that are more recent that you might have seen in the news, and I want to talk about how technology solved those. So one of the big ones is, so one of the things that we had that I needed to, really as a team, we needed to address in Kalamazoo was the amount of gun violence. We had unacceptable levels of gun violence for the last few years. Last year, 2023, was one of the worst years we've ever had. We had 21 gun-related homicides. This year, numbers are much better. I'm going to go into that in a second. But back on April 9th, we had a homicide up at Interfaith Apartments. Okay, it was a shots fired call, and we got a report that someone in an apartment was struck by a stray bullet from that shots fired call and was killed. Innocent guy was there visiting his daughter. Someone shoots at someone in the parking lot, misses, goes through the door, hits this guy and kills him. Horrible situation, visiting his daughter from out of town. We get to the scene, and now, and some of you may have heard of our Fusus integrated camera system. Interfaith Homes is on our integrated camera system, which allows us to access their exterior security cameras when something happens. So, as officers are responding to that scene, someone back at the office is pulling up the security cameras and rewinding it to see what was happening before we got the call. What did they see? They saw altercation in the parking lot. Well, it wasn't even an altercation. This guy just walked up to a car and shot him several times and missed. But we had the image of that person that we were able to take from that surveillance footage and send it to the officers who were responding to that area. Officers go to the area. They don't just go right to the scene because we know the shooter left, but he's somewhere around. A couple blocks away, they see a person matching that description. Not only matching that description, but the person from the image walking. They go to contact him, he runs, pitches a gun, they're able to apprehend and recover a gun. We take that gun, like I said, we have a nine, we test fire the gun, and match it to the casings that were found at the scene, and they match. So now we know we got a person in the video that did the shooting with a murder weapon. And when he was running away, as he was running, you can see on the camera, they put his hand on a parked car as he was running away. So our lab's like, that could be a clue. So they go to where he touched that car, they pulled a palm print, and that palm print matched the person who ran from us that pitched the gun. And of course, when we interviewed him, I wasn't there, it wasn't me. Well, with the technology, we were able to solve that case within 20 minutes of the shooting. And I'm just telling you again, this is another random victim, no relationship with the shooter. That case probably would still be open without that technology, because he would have no idea who shot him inside that apartment. So, again, we're able to close those cases much more quickly, and instead of being open for a year or two, that case was closed in 20 minutes, which again builds legitimacy and trust. We had another one back in August, parental kidnapping. I don't know if you heard about this. Well, we had frantic family members call, said, hey, my daughter did not come home. I'm worried about her safety. She had a tough relationship with her ex-boyfriend, and they knew that he'd made some threats. We go back to where her car was parked, across from the daycare where she picked up her kids from school. And on that video, we were able to see a car kind of laying away next to her car. She goes out, the video cuts out for a second, but next thing you know, because it's a motion camera, next thing you know, both cars are gone and she's missing. We go to that spot where the car was, we find her shoes. So we were able to backtrack, find other security cameras along the route, and we saw a very disturbing image of the van that she was in with her kids. Had a plastic window, like the window had been broken out and was covered in plastic. You could actually see the victim trying to climb out the window as the car was driving down the street before he was able to pull her back in. But we were able to use security cameras and license plate readers to find where the car was located. We put a drone up and surveillance on that house. When the suspect came outside, we moved in, we were able to take him into custody, and the mom and two kids were safe and unharmed. But that could have turned out much different because we were able to locate him quickly and get him in custody. I don't know if you guys heard about all the arson fires we had downtown recently. We had a horrible stretch of arson fires. Random events, right? Just, we could tell they had the same method of operation. They were all started on the exterior. They were all started in the back of the house, out of sight from the street. That's all we had. But we started looking at security cameras, found a guy in the area on a bicycle. One of the fires, the one we just most recently had downtown at Hopcat, we had the same set of circumstances. We canvassed the area, obtained security camera footage from a liquor store where the guy was seen prior to the fire going and buying the lighter. We were able to identify him through that and get him in custody, and he confessed to 8 different arsons. Again, technology helped us solve that crime. And then another one I'll just touch on really quick is the horrible stabbing incidents that we had downtown. You've heard about that one. But that was just on September 12th. Again, random attack on an innocent person. This is one of the worst things I've seen in 29 years in Kalamazoo. We had a couple folks downtown that just went out to dinner, a couple bars and restaurants. 2 females and a man are walking back to their car like any of us would. And out of nowhere, this person came out, grabbed one of the females, and started basically slashed her throat and started stabbing her friend. It's horrible. With our Fusus integrated camera system, we were able to capture that attack on video. We were able to get that out to our officers responding, and they were able to disseminate that to businesses and areas downtown and say, be on the lookout for this person. We got a call, someone matching that after he committed another stabbing at Ross Park, another random stranger. We were able to find him based on a tip that he was walking down the street based on the image that we shared. We were able to get him custody within 30 minutes of that final attack. Again, horrible situation, but we could not have solved that so quickly without that technology. And not only that, but for prosecution cases, that case was all captured on video. And so he is now in custody, but it was a horrible random attack. Again, those are the ones traditionally are harder for us to solve because the victim-offender relationship is unknown. So, and then recently, this one we had a bank robbery. You heard we had a bank robbery in Portage Road. We used a lot of different technology to solve that, including license plate readers, security cameras, etc. So, again, so when we have these horrible incidents, we are solving them much quicker than in the past. And I think that's helping with this. I'm going to share one last thing, probably for time. But our homicides in Kalamazoo are down 56% from where they were last year. So last year, we were at 17 homicides, and we're at 6 gun homicides this year. So not only that, but assault with firearms, so there's people getting threatened or shot at with a firearm, we're down 23%. Our overall shots fired call, that's a report of someone shooting, maybe no one gets hit, but it's a confirmed shots fired call, we find casings, that's down 54%. And overall property crime is down 19% from last year. So it's working, and it's not just the technology, it's the partnerships with the community, it's the outreach, it's the balance between outreach and enforcement. All these things are coming together and working. But the big thing that's helping us with legitimacy is being effective. And technology is helping us be effective in keeping our community safe and reducing crime. So that, anything else? Anything else from the team? Okay, I don't know if I got time for questions or we do the panel or how we do this.
We'll do it at the panel, Dave.
Okay, all right, so no questions, but I'll be at the panel, so thank you.